И здравейчко, гледате, аз съм Barzaka и днес ще играем The Stanley Parable. Това е новата поредица, която започвам. Не е част от Barzaka прави игрички, а това ще бъде новата ми поредица. Това е играта The Stanley Parable. Оправих си малко настройките, така. Този път, за разлика от State of Decay, си оправих екрана. Тъй, че нека да започваме. Играта е интересна, не съм я гледал. Не знам за какво става дума. Обаче има такива моменти, дето просто толкова забавна, че направо кърти. Зависи как се развиеш играта, де. Тя не се развива еднакво при всеки човек. Зависи какво правиш. Няма да скипвам.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee
няма ли субтитри, бе?
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Вау, на това работата му е била само да натиска бутони.
Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Окей, явно няма никой тук.
Co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the...
Чехте, че нещо... Няма ли субтитри, бе? Може би в аудиото. Какво? Ето, субтитри можем да се сложим. Full captions, какво е това?
Meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Окей, това е играта The Stanley Parable.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Да, значи в тази игра вие можете да правите това, което този ви казва и това, което не може да изберете дали да го слушате или не. Той каза вляво, аз мисля тук да го послушам. То няма смисъл да не го послушам тук, каква е логиката?
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Не думай.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Миху, отиваме до офиса на босчето.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Окей, значи отиваме до боса. Преди това много готино. И нема никой, разбира се, нали? Че както се очаква.
Into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
Личи си.
Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him?
Те знам.
What he could not have known
was това второто е емблемата на играта.
Guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
2845. Той каза 2845, мръдни съм. Окей, 2, опа. 2, 8, 4, 5.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
What the fuck, брат? Може би насам. Окей, отиваме на където той каже. Поне докато не стигнем някакъв момент, дето мисля, че е по-добре да не го слушам. Окей, стигнахме първия лоудинг. Само за 5 минути. Изи пизи. Сега.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
О, не ми харесва. Окей, вървим където ни каза той.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escape. Това няма да е вярно. Той каза Mind Control Facility. Това е прекалено таковащо, прекалено прикамващо да пише Escape там.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Майко, това е всичко е екрани.
Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Разбира се, че да. Майко, това всичко хора е екрани. А тука? Оп, камери.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen. And Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Това са камери към всички стаи, за всички работници.
This mind control facility.
Къде е? Ние сме 400 и кой е?
Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Ние бяхме 427 или кое те знам? Ето го 27. Ако не се бъркам. Не сме 427. Окей, който и да сме. Аз скачам или слизам надолу, където да ме отведе.
He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it impossible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Окей, тук имаме копчета. Мисля, че трябва да ги натиснем в последователността. 1, 2. Там горе видях някакво. Не знам кое е. Се кача да видя. Това май е 3, като гледам. Тъй, че 3. А, не, това е 4. Окей, значи търсим 3 сега. 1 и 2 ги открихме. Търсим 3. Търсим 3, търсим 3. Къде е 3? Ние от тук дойдохме. Опа, 3. Отиваме горе за 4. Да видим. Всъщност не знам, играта се води хорър, но до сега не виждам нищо страшно, честно ви кажа. То по-скоро е забавно. Добре, натиснахме до 1, 2, 3 и 4. А отсреща като че ли май имаше бутони, там 4, там май виждам бутон. Аз се оглеждам през това време, разбира се. 5 виждам тук. И 6 търсим. Което 6? Къде е? 5. Може би са само 5. Значи тук ги видяхме. Тук за всеки случай да мина. Не, тук няма. Долу в този кръг не виждам да има нещо. Тук пак оглеждам. Окей. Явно трябва да натисна сега, че големия червен бутон тук. Поне така си мисля. Не мога да натисна. Не мога да натисна големия червен бутон. Окей, тогава какво правим? Може би да продължим напред или... Ще видим.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do.
Може би трябваше да го послушам и да натисна off.
There's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex.
Opa.
How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start.
Church.
You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's so rich.
Oh my God.
I hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees.
Не ми харесва.
Oh dear me.
Може би трябваше да натисна off.
Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what
това
you're
4.
supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is?
Не.
Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. but I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever up.
Това не беше добро. The end is never the end. Какво ние да не почах? О, не! Ние почнахме от начало. О, хора, това ще го скипна. Окей, хора, върнах се пак тук. Трябваше да... от начало още да почна. Сега тук ще натиснем OFF. Окей. Сега какво става? Не виждам нищо.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Не.
Yes.
О!
He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved.
Не знам.
Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness.
Ай, какво вънка е, бати якото
His
е?
goal had not been to understand, but to let go.
Ай,
No longer would
кеф.
anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing.
О,
Stanley stepped through the open door.
чакайте да се свали, де. А, така.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Ей, кеф. И сега какво? The end is never the end. Това го запомнете, когато играете тази игра. А! Ние минахме през края.
Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room,
Oh.
and from then on he would never be alone.
Значи играта има различни краища. Окей, играта има различни краища, това не го знаех.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ето ние превъртяхме...
Yes, truly a room worth admiring.
Да, ние превъртяхме играта в два различни края. Сега ще видим третия къв. Тук стават вече много. Може би ще го последвам. Аха, ние пак се върнахме тук. Значи играта минава през различни места. Окей, тук па сега ще слезна надолу.
But Stanley just couldn't do it.
Да.
He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of
2 hours later.
Mariella.
Ау!
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance,
Аре, брат ми, приключа, майка.
she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment...
Добре, хора, не мога да издържа повече. Предам се. Предам се, тая игра е невероятна. Свърших я 2 пъти в 2 различни края, обаче тая игра просто ненормална. Толкова много дрънка сапри са, бе, брат. Аз знам, че говоря много, но не чак толкова. Добре, хора, явно приключихме играта в 2 различни края. Следващите няма и да ги пробвам. Тъй, че Дано ви е харесал клипа, ще започна скоро и нова поредица. Ще се поразтърса за напред за следващата поредица. Тъй, че очаквайте пак нова поредица. Аз мисля, че това ще бъде поредица, но явно не беше поредица. Голяма работа. Тъй, че това ще бъде този епизод. Дано ви е харесал, бързо, че гледахте, не забравяйте да се абонирате за още клипа, ако следващия не сте го направили. Харесайте клипа, харесайте Facebook страницата ми в описанието. И до скоро! Чао!